everyone. So I just got done watching The Invisible Man, directed by Lee Manel and starring Elizabeth Moss. I've been a huge fan of her since Mad Men. She's been one of my favorite actresses for a long time. And for this episode, I'm joined by my little man here. He liked the movie too. He enjoyed it, but he's gonna join me for this movie review. Did you like the movie, bud? Yeah. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into talking about The Invisible Man. Directly into the So the Invisible okay. So the Invisible Man is part of Universal's kind of like monster dark universe, if I remember. That's what they were referring it to as. But this is definitely a very contemporary modern take on the telling of the Invisible Man. The plot of this movie is Elizabeth Moss, well, right at the beginning of the movie, it does an amazing job building tension, and it holds it throughout the entire film, or like it only slowly goes away, but then it builds back up the tension. The tension's always there, but Elizabeth Moss escapes from an abusive relationship that she had with her boyfriend. Even in the beginning of the movie, you can tell that there's some little subtle clues that he is abusive and controlling, as he always has his arm around her, security cameras all around his house, alarms everywhere, big walls surrounding his property too, where it's a struggle for her to get out. But she escapes the house, and even too, right when she gets into a car and she's about to drive away, his boyfriend comes, smashes the window, and like you can tell he does not want to lose control and doesn't want her to go, but she escapes that relationship. And about 2 weeks later, she finds out that her boyfriend Adrian has killed himself, and he's leaving her a big sum of money, $5 million, that's going to be paid in installments throughout the next 4 to 5 years. So she gets a little bit of a relief and grace period, but then she starts being stalked by a force that she cannot see, and she eventually starts to figure out that this is Adrian, her boyfriend. So the rest of the movie kind of revolves around Elizabeth Moss' character trying to prove to her new family and friends that this is what's happening. Even Adrian's brother is involved in this whole thing too, and there's some good commentary about how controlling he was, and the brother's there basically to say, like, don't let him win by letting him haunt her even in death. But you can't deny, like, from our perspective, that there is an invisible force haunting her, but at the same time, you're kind of wondering, you see in the movie that she was on medications. Of course, too, some of just the psychological trauma that she went through could be haunting her, and it kind of leaves you wondering, is this going on in her head? And you're kind of hoping that there is like some security camera footage that can help, or someone else can see this force, and you don't really get any answers on that until later in the film, but it does a really good job kind of leaving that wonder if this is actually happening or if it's all in her head, she's making this up, like what is going on? Which makes it a really great commentary on control, even misogyny and court rape cases, a bunch of things, abuse cases with women where their stories are ignored. This is a great commentary on that subject where everything is just kind of brushed off because there's no way this man could be doing this, and they do some commentary on that fact, and I thought it was just very, very well done and weaved into the story very, very well. And they do it in this way where it is, like I said, it's not a biological Invisible Man. It does take a bit of a almost like modern day sci-fi thriller. And there's a lot of genres that they kind of smush into it, but it's very, very well done, and I thought it had a great payoff. And yeah, like I said, there's just always some suspense, and even when it really kicks into it, it's bolstered by an amazing soundtrack that's just very, very unique and good and builds the tension with what's going on the screen very, very well. And the direction in this movie is amazing, where the camera, even if there's 3 people in the room, the camera focus in films like there's a 4th person that they focus on, but you can't see it, and it adds to the elements of being scared of not knowing what is there, even though you know something is there. And the fights in this movie are really, really well done. I want to say there's a few scenes where objects are thrown at this Invisible Man to make him appear, and it's done in, I don't quite want to say a jump scary way, but it's definitely like in your face, and it shocks you quite a lot. And even too, like there's a fight scene where Elizabeth Moss is throwing punches and kicks, and you see all of them land, but you have no idea what they're landing against. Like she's smashing plates and they're breaking at the same points in midair, and it was just really, really awesome and well shot, and it was really fun and entertaining to watch. The one thing too that I have to say is in the beginning of the movie there is a reliance on security cameras for her to get out, and even at the end of the movie to prove what's going on. But a lot of things happen in public spaces in this movie which gets blamed on her, but security cameras are never mentioned, or even like the characters don't think to look at them. And I get that everything's happening really quickly in the movie, like in public spaces or even a police station, which was an amazing sequence in this movie. But I couldn't help but wonder is why is no one looking at the security camera footage? Like, how come no one's looked at this to prove her innocence? I kept wondering if that was going to come up, but it just never does, because yeah, this movie would be over. Well, I don't want to say over because I would still have to find them, but you wouldn't get that same tension or trauma into Elizabeth Moss's character if one of these people would have just looked at a security camera. But yeah, this movie really took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to like this movie or have it be directed as well as it was, and that made it just really entertaining for me, and I enjoyed watching it. I was sucked into the screen pretty much the entire movie, and I was so intrigued at what was going to go on. It's not predictable, it's really fun, there's some good twists in the movie, and that's why I'm going to give The Invisible Man an 8 out of 10. This was such a fun and, like I said, just interesting, greatly written movie that has some good social commentary in it. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about The Invisible Man, if you liked it or not, if you want to see more, maybe even sequels of The Invisible Man, if that is going to be possible. It does feel like this was made to be a one film universe. I don't know if there's going to be sequels. But yeah, as always, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. You can check out the rest of my movie reviews through my playlist. But yeah, awesome guys. Definitely go check out The Invisible Man. It's well worth it.